What's up guys, Matt back again, and this is the Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus Brave, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing the entire set. Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey. This Kuji opens up with the last Gohan Beast we received in Ichiban Kuji. Gohan Beast is a fan favorite form that blew many fans away with its appearance in the superhero movie. While it was nice to see another Gohan Beast figure, I think it was a bit unnecessary since we had two within the Omnibus Beast Kuji. I guess Bandai just wanted to finish the series of Gohan figures using this same body sculpt. The figure seems based mostly on Gohan Beast's movie promo image, but he basically stands there just like this during his transformation too, but with battle damage. The figure's likeness is great. There were many figures within this set that had some suspect faces when the set was first revealed. Luckily, they were fixed by the time this entire Kuji set came out, and looked a lot better. I really love the menacing look Gohan has in this set. The sculpt is pretty impressive too. Gohan isn't necessarily a big figure based on his build, but his hair is so big that it makes him over a foot tall. It's a pretty sick hair sculpt, and I think I prefer it to the Omnibus Beast's flowing hair instead. Of course, as mentioned earlier, this figure uses the same body sculpt as the previously released DBS Gohan figures. I do appreciate the uniformity between them all, but it's nothing new seeing the same Gohan body sculpt for the fourth time. The paint and shading on the figure is pretty weak too. The only area that has shading is his gi, but it's pretty subtle, especially when compared to other DBS Gohan figures. His hair looks really bland in its color too, without any shading applied. I'll also say that I don't like how pale his skin looks, and it could have definitely used some shading to make it pop. This Gohan scales just as good as the last few DBS Gohan figures, but just keep in mind that his hair elevates his overall height quite a bit. I used to like this Gohan figure a lot more when he came out, and I still really do, but I can't deny the issues that he clearly has. While Gohan Beast getting another figure in Master Lee's seemed like a redundant choice, it was pretty cool seeing Orange Piccolo again in his giant form with some significant battle damage. We already saw Orange Piccolo in Omnibus Beast, but this one is technically a new form since Piccolo uses his giant form in the battle against Cell Max. It's pretty clear Irakua sculpted this Piccolo figure due to his monstrous looking features. His likeness is definitely different and takes a few creative liberties, but I think it's very fitting and looks pretty good for Piccolo. I'm a big fan of the veins being sculpted all around Piccolo's body, and it did look like Irakua held back a little bit when compared to something like his Broly figures. The sculpt is really impressive with its massive height and size, plus all of the detail and texturing his body and pants. The paint and shading on this figure is okay, and it's really only on his pants. I wasn't able to find noticeable shading on his skin at all, which is a bit of a bummer. That actually seems to be a common trend in this entire Kuji set that I really think goes downhill from here, but more on that later. While the size of the figure is impressive, Piccolo comes in at a bit of a disappointing height. I understand he's crouched down, but this form is supposed to be massive like Cell Max. I think they should have gone the extra mile and delivered a 14-inch Orange Piccolo figure to really demonstrate just how massive he is. Either way, I do think this Piccolo figure is pretty good, but has a few key areas that needed some massive improvements. Goku as the legendary Super Saiyan is our prize C in this Omnibus Kuji. Goku has received a Super Saiyan figure from the Namek arc in the past, but this figure is based on his design from further along in the fight with Frieza as he sustains more battle damage. The figure is also directly based on a popular Toriyama illustration from one of his many guidebooks of Dragon Ball. So while we did already have a Namek Super Saiyan Goku figure and many other Super Saiyan Goku figures, I do love this choice as it gives it another style and flavor for the character. In the past, I wasn't very fond of this figure's likeness due to his face being slightly altered from the original promotional pics and his hair sculpt. His face has definitely grown on me, and I think it looks great. It would have been nice if his face was angled higher so I can see it a bit better though. His hair sculpt is still too detailed for my liking. I know that sounds strange, but what I mean by that is that I wish they had gone with the more solid, fluffy looking Super Saiyan hair that this arc was known for giving Goku. I think the overall sculpt is also a mixed bag, to be honest. Aside from Goku's hair sculpt, his muscular build does look a bit odd, but I do somewhat like the style for hyper-realism in that area. His gi does have some issues though. I'm not sure if you can pick it up from my footage, but Goku's gi has some major cuts and cracks along his pants close to the damaged areas. It makes the figure look like it was broken and glued together, which is pretty unacceptable from a quality management standpoint. This is also not an isolated issue, as every figure I've seen of this Goku has the same issue. The figure also has no shading, which just really blows. Comparing to the Battle of World E-moving Goku makes this one look incredibly dull. The Battle of World is so bright, dynamic, and saturated, while the Omnibus Brave looks pretty boring. He does scale well with other Goku figures, and I also like how big they made their hair, which adds a bit of height to him too. This Goku has grown on me a little bit over time, but I still can't deny the major issues he has. Our final Frieza figure we received after a year full of releases for him was his 100% final form. This legendary form was built up in the anime as Frieza slowly began increasing his power until he reached his max power to fight Super Saiyan Goku. It's an iconic form and hasn't really been seen ever since that battle. The figure itself is based on a wonderfully drawn panel from the manga by Akira Toriyama. It's also our first and only full power Frieza figure within Masterlies. I was really hoping to finish up all of Frieza's forms in my collection like many other major villains from Dragon Ball Z. His likeness is fantastic. They spared no detail around his eyes, and the heavy bolding around them and his mouth are very fitting for Frieza from his panel. I also love the veins split around his body. The overall build and sculpt of this figure is really good, but I have some more technical issues with the sculpt. The figure was given translucent heels in order to make him float, which I do love, but I'm not sure if those or the support for his tail are the reason he looks to be leaning to one side. I don't know if that's just my figure or a widespread issue though. There's also a pretty noticeable seam at the center of his torso where his upper and lower body split. I do love the saturated colors and glossy coloring for the figure's purple spots, but this figure, like Goku, has no shading. I think shading would have went a long way in making this possibly the best Frieza figure of all time, as the sculpt and texturing are done really well. At the very least, this figure does scale really well with other Friezas and Masterlies figures. I still really love this Frieza figure, but like Goku, I can't deny his issues either. Bulma finally received her first Masterlies figure just last year, and what a treat it was to see her. This figure single-handedly brought me back to the hobby and content creation. Bulma is based on a manga chapter cover during the Namek saga. I love the reference, but I will say that as our first Bulma figure, I was hoping or even expecting one of her in her more iconic outfits. Personally, I would have preferred to see her in her first outfit from Dragon Ball, or maybe even her regular outfit worn during the Namek arc. It's not a big deal, but Bulma in a spacesuit isn't where I usually go first when thinking of her and her many designs. Her likeness is perfection. Whoever made this figure knows exactly how to craft Bulma's face and features. Her eyes are so bright and make the figure pop so well. Her hair is wonderfully made with every strand of hair sculpted throughout. There are lots of small details on her suit too, like the zippers, her name, and even some translucent material for her helmet. You can even see the inside of her helmet has been sculpted to show the padding. Unfortunately, there's no shading on this figure. I know with Bulma it might not be a big deal, but I know that even some subtle uses of shading would have made the figure look quite a bit better and dynamic. Bulma may not be the biggest Master Lease figure either, but she's a fantastic size that scales perfectly with other figures. She's easily the best figure in this set, even with some of her minor flaws. The future is looking bright since this character started multiple Bulma releases within Master Lease. Our last one prize is Orange Piccolo once again, but now he features nobody's favorite quality: MC Hammer Pants. I hate it when Bandai recycles their figures for a last one prize and choose such a lazy option like this. Frankly, I think the shiny pants make this figure look so much worse in comparison to his prize B version. I just don't really see the appeal, and it doesn't make it feel special at all. Bandai didn't even bother to add any shading to his skin, so because of the shiny pants, this figure doesn't have any shading at all on it. It's just really forgettable and lame. Obviously, this figure carries any other problems and benefits other than the shading with the Prize B version. I don't think I have much more to say other than this thing sucks. So those are my thoughts on Ichiban Kuji, Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus Brave. You know, in hindsight, I liked this set a lot more back in the last year, but looking back on it now and looking at a lot of the glaring issues in this set, it's not as great as I thought it should be. But those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you made it this far in the video, please hit the like button. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to go even further beyond and support the channel, then you can become a YouTube member starting at $3. That gives you access to our Discord community with awesome people in there that you can sync up with and talk Dragon Ball. And if you want to take part in our monthly giveaways, we're doing Crane figures, Ichiban Kuji figures, and Ichiban Kuji set giveaways for $10, $15, and $20 members respectively. So if you want to jump in, go ahead and take a look. But I think that's all I got for you guys today. So until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.